When her tormentors slammed a chair into a table so hard plates shattered and the entire restaurant froze, Amanda ran to hide behind the counter, only for a little boy to step out and ask her, "Marry me, Miss Amanda." The little boy began. She laughed, thinking it was a joke, until his billionaire father walked in, silenced the room, and made her tormentors vanish. What began as a harmless joke exploded into a fake engagement, ruthless enemies, and a desperate race to save a dying child. As scandals erupt and danger closes in, Amanda must choose: run again, or stay and fight for love, family, and a future she never believed she deserved. Hey family, welcome to Real Life Heart Stories. Please subscribe and give this video a like. It truly means the world to us. Don't forget to share it with your friends and loved ones, and turn on post notifications so you never miss a new upload. Thank you so much for the support. Now, sit back, relax, and let's dive into today's story. The crash came first. A chair slammed into a table so hard plates shattered, and the entire restaurant froze. Amanda didn't need to look up to know who it was. Her body reacted before her mind did. Heart racing, breath shallow. She slipped off her serving apron and ducked behind the old storage counter near the back of the kitchen, the same place she always hid when trouble found her. Her father's voice followed seconds later, thick with alcohol and anger. "Amanda, don't play stupid games with me. I know you're here." Her younger brother laughed, sharp and cruel. "She's hiding again, always acting like she's better than us." Amanda curled in on herself, fingers digging into her palms. She had just been paid. 2 weeks of tips were folded into her sock: rent money, food money, survival money. If they found her, they'd take it. They always did. She counted silently. 10 minutes. Just 10 minutes. Usually the manager would threaten the police, customers would complain, and her father would leave after causing enough damage to feel powerful. A soft rustle made her flinch. Someone else was back there. Amanda pressed herself tighter against the counter, heart hammering, expecting her brother's sneer. But instead, a small face peeked out between the shelves. Big eyes, clean clothes, no fear, just curiosity. "Wow," the boy whispered. "You're really pretty." Amanda blinked, stunned. She pressed a finger to her lips. "Hey, you scared me," she whispered back. The boy tilted his head. "Why are you hiding?" She forced a smile. "From bad people." His face hardened instantly. "Bad people?" He puffed out his chest. "I don't like bad people." Then, as if the chaos outside didn't exist, the boy stepped closer and said, completely serious, "You should marry me." Amanda almost laughed out loud. "What? I mean," he corrected himself quickly, standing straighter. "Will you marry me?" She covered her mouth, trying not to make a sound. "Why would I marry you, little knight?" He thought hard, brows scrunched. "Because if you marry someone rich, bad people go away. Everyone's scared of rich people." She raised a brow, playing along. "Oh? And are you rich?" He nodded proudly. "My dad has lots and lots of money. Like, scary money." A loud voice suddenly cut through the kitchen. Calm, cold, powerful. "Michael, what are you doing back here?" The boy grabbed Amanda's hand. "Daddy, this is Amanda. She's my fiancée." Silence slammed into the room. Amanda's blood turned to ice as she looked up and met the gaze of a tall man in a tailored suit, his presence alone sucking the air from the space. 2 bodyguards stepped in behind him. Her father's yelling stopped instantly. The man's eyes never left Amanda. "Are you hurt?" he asked quietly. She shook her head, unable to speak. The boy squeezed her fingers. "See? I told you rich people make bad guys go away." The man's jaw tightened. "Remove them," he said calmly. Within seconds, her father and brother were being dragged out, screaming. The man turned back to her. "Come with us. It's safer." Amanda stared at the boy, then at the stranger whose name she didn't know, but whose power she felt in her bones. She took his hand anyway, unaware that this single joking promise had just dragged her into the life of the most feared billionaire CEO in the country. If you're enjoying this story already, don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more gripping stories, and comment below. Would you have accepted the proposal? The man didn't raise his voice, didn't threaten, didn't even look angry. Yet the entire restaurant bent around him like grass in a storm. Amanda stood frozen beside the little boy as her father struggled uselessly against the bodyguards, his drunken rage dissolving into panic. You think money scares me? Her brother spat, though his voice shook. The billionaire CEO, Daniel, finally turned his gaze on them, and it felt like being measured, weighed, and dismissed in a single breath. You're done here, he said calmly. If you ever come near her again, you won't just disappear from this restaurant. You'll disappear from this city. The manager watched in stunned silence as the two men were dragged outside, their protests fading into the street. Amanda's knees went weak. She had dreamed of this moment, of someone stopping them, but she'd never imagined it would come so suddenly or so completely. The boy, Michael, beamed up at her like he'd just won a battle. Told you, he said proudly. Bad guys always leave when Daddy shows up. Daniel turned to Amanda, his sharp expression softening just slightly. I'm sorry you had to see that, he said. And I'm sorry my son dragged you into this. Amanda swallowed. It's fine. He was just playing. Michael gasped in outrage. I was not playing. You said yes. Daniel's brow lifted. You said yes. Amanda laughed nervously, rubbing Michael's hair. It was a joke. I didn't know. She stopped herself, suddenly aware of where she was and who she was talking to. Daniel studied her for a long moment, then nodded. Either way, it's not safe for you to stay here tonight. Her heart thudded. I can take care of myself. He met her gaze evenly. You shouldn't have to. Michael tugged her hand again. Come with us, Amanda. Our house is big and safe. She hesitated only a second before realizing she'd already made the choice. She followed them out to a black luxury car that looked nothing like her world, the door closing behind her with a soft, final click. The ride was silent except for Michael humming happily in the back seat, leaning against Amanda like they'd known each other forever. Daniel sat across from her, his presence heavy, thoughtful. My son doesn't attach to people easily, he said at last. You must have made him feel safe. Amanda looked down at the boy's small hand wrapped around her finger. He made me feel safe, she admitted quietly. Daniel's eyes flickered with something unreadable. When the car finally stopped, Amanda stared up at a mansion glowing against the night sky, her breath catching. You don't have to stay, Daniel said. But if you do, no one will hurt you here. She stepped inside anyway, unaware that this was only the beginning. That rumors, cameras, lies, and a secret about Michael's health were already waiting to explode. If this pulled you in, tap like right now, subscribe and comment. Do you think Amanda should trust him, or run while she still can? Amanda didn't sleep that night. The guest room was bigger than her entire apartment, the bed soft enough to swallow her whole, but her mind refused to rest. Every creak of the house made her flinch. She kept expecting her father's fist on the door, her brother's mocking laugh, but the mansion remained silent, guarded, untouchable. Just after dawn, a soft knock came. Amanda jolted upright. Before fear could take over, the door opened slowly and Michael peeked in, hair messy, clutching a stuffed dragon. You didn't leave, he said, relief flooding his small face. She smiled despite herself. I promised, didn't I? He crawled onto the bed like it was the most natural thing in the world. Daddy said you could have breakfast with us. Like family. The word family landed strangely in her chest, warm and painful at the same time. At the breakfast table, Amanda noticed things she'd been too shaken to see the night before. The way Daniel watched Michael constantly. The way servants moved quietly, carefully, like they were protecting something fragile. Michael barely touched his food. Halfway through his pancakes, his hand trembled, and Daniel was on his feet instantly. Michael, he said softly, slow down. Amanda's smile faded. Is he okay? Daniel hesitated, then nodded toward the staff. Give us a moment. When they left, the air changed. Michael swung his legs nervously. Daddy doesn't like doctors, he whispered. They poke me too much. Amanda's heart squeezed. Daniel exhaled slowly. Michael has a heart condition, he said. He's been sick since birth. We're waiting for a transplant. Amanda felt like the floor dropped away beneath her. That's why he hates doctors, she murmured. Michael nodded. But when I marry you, I won't be scared anymore. Daniel closed his eyes briefly, like the words physically hurt. Later that day, Amanda tried to leave. She stood in the grand foyer, clutching her worn bag, telling herself this wasn't her life. I can't stay, she said quietly when Daniel stopped her. I don't belong here. He didn't argue. You're free to go, he said evenly. But your father came back to the restaurant this morning, looking for you. Fear crawled up her spine. What do you want from me? She asked. Daniel met her gaze, honest and exhausted. Nothing, except honesty. He paused. My son believes you're his future, and the press already knows you were seen with us. If you disappear now, it will hurt him, and draw attention I can't control. Amanda laughed bitterly. So I'm trapped. No, he said firmly. You're protected. There's a difference. Michael ran in then, clutching a crayon drawing of the three of them holding hands. Look, he said proudly. This is us after we get married. Amanda stared at the picture, her throat tight. She knelt and hugged him gently. I'll stay, she whispered. For now. Daniel watched them, knowing that this choice, hers and his, was about to ignite a storm neither of them could stop. The storm broke the next morning. Amanda was halfway through helping Michael color at the kitchen island when Daniel's phone started vibrating nonstop on the counter. He glanced at the screen once, jaw tightening, then silenced it. Too late. A large television mounted on the wall flickered to life, and Amanda's breath caught as her own face appeared on the screen. Grainy footage from the restaurant, her standing beside Michael, Daniel looming protectively near her. Mystery woman spotted with billionaire CEO and his son. The headline screamed. Michael clapped his hands. That's you. Amanda felt sick. Turn it off, she whispered. Daniel grabbed the remote, but the damage was done. Within minutes, staff phones buzzed, security radios crackled, and the mansion shifted into controlled chaos. They followed us, Amanda said, panic rising. This is my fault. Daniel looked at her sharply. No, this is the price of being near me. He took a breath. And it's about to get worse. By afternoon, reporters crowded the gates. Rumors spread like wildfire. Gold digger, secret wife, paid caretaker, opportunist waitress. Amanda locked herself in the guest room, scrolling through hateful comments until her hands shook. A soft knock came. Daniel didn't enter right away. Michael's asking for you, he said through the door. He's scared. That broke her. She opened the door and found Michael sitting on the floor, hugging his dragon, eyes wet. They're saying mean things about you, he said. Are you going away? Amanda knelt and pulled him close. No, she said firmly. I'm not leaving you. Daniel watched them. Conflict etched into his face. That night, he called her into his study. We need to control the story, he said. If we don't, they'll tear you apart, and use Michael to do it. Amanda folded her arms. So what do you suggest? He met her gaze. We say the engagement is real. Temporarily. The word engagement echoed in her ears. Fake, she said flatly. Public, he corrected. It protects you. Protects Michael. And it shuts down speculation. Amanda laughed, sharp and humorless. You want me to pretend to be your fiancé? I want you safe, Daniel said. And I want my son to sleep at night. Silence stretched between them, thick with tension. Finally, Amanda exhaled. If I do this, she said, I do it my way. No lies to Michael. No control over who I am. Daniel nodded. Agreed. Minutes later, Michael burst into the room. Are we getting married for real? He asked hopefully. Amanda crouched to his level, forcing a smile. We're engaged for now. Michael cheered like they'd won the lottery. Daniel watched her closely as she laughed with his son. Knowing this agreement had just tied their lives together in a way neither could walk away from easily. Outside, Camera flashes lit up the night, and Amanda realized running was no longer an option. The world had already claimed her story. Things just got serious. If you're hooked, like the video, subscribe and comment. Should Amanda go through with the fake engagement? Or is this the beginning of disaster? The press conference felt like walking into a furnace. Lights blazed. Cameras snapped like gunfire. Amanda's smile was steady only because Daniel's hand was warm and solid at her elbow. Engaged, the moderator announced, and the word rolled through the room like thunder. Questions flew. How did you meet? When's the wedding? Is this about the child's health? Daniel answered smoothly, his voice calm, controlled, practiced. When it was Amanda's turn, she heard her own voice answer before fear could choke it. We're happy, she said, and we're asking for privacy. Michael sat in the front row in a tiny suit, clapping wildly like this was a school play. Amanda caught his eye and winked. His grin lit up the room, but backstage, the smile slid from her face. Her phone buzzed nonstop. Unknown numbers, messages from coworkers, headlines painting her as a schemer. One comment stung deeper than the rest. She'll leave once the money runs out. Amanda swallowed hard. She didn't want the money. She wanted quiet. She wanted safety. She wanted the boy who believed in nights to live long enough to become one. That night, the mansion buzzed with celebration she didn't feel. Flowers arrived. Designers called. A ring, simple platinum with a green stone, appeared on her finger, slipped there gently by Daniel with a look that asked permission even as the cameras demanded proof. You don't have to wear it in private, he said softly when they were alone. I don't mind, she replied, surprised to find it was true. Michael bounded in, breathless. Are we really family now? He asked, eyes shining. Amanda knelt, heart tight. We're taking care of each other, she said. That's what family does. Later, when the house finally settled, Daniel found her in the garden staring at the koi pond. I'm sorry, he said quietly. This is more than you signed up for. She didn't look at him. My father called, she said. He wants money. He says I owe him for raising me. Daniel's jaw hardened. He won't get it. He won't stop, she whispered. Daniel stepped closer. Then neither will I. Their eyes met, something dangerous and sincere passing between them. The pretend had teeth now. The world believed the story. And for Michael's sake, for her own, Amanda realized she'd have to live it convincingly enough to survive what came next. The night broke without warning. Amanda was halfway through reading Michael a bedtime story when shouting erupted at the front gate. Angry, familiar voices slicing through the calm like knives. Michael stiffened. That sounds like bad people, he whispered. Amanda's heart slammed against her ribs. Before she could answer, Daniel was already moving, voice sharp into his phone, security flooding the property. A crash followed, metal against metal. Then her father's voice, drunk and furious. Come out, Amanda. You think you're royalty now? Michael's breath hitched. Daniel scooped him up instantly, pressing his son's face into his shoulder. Eyes closed, buddy, he said softly, steel under the calm. Amanda stood frozen in the hallway, shame and terror colliding. This is my fault, she said, voice shaking. I brought this here. Daniel turned on her, eyes blazing. Not with anger, but fear. No, he said. They chose this. Outside, security restrained her father and brother, both screaming about money and betrayal. Cameras flashed beyond the gates. Someone had tipped off the press. Amanda covered her mouth as Michael began coughing, his small body trembling. The monitor on his wrist beeped faster. Daddy, he whimpered, clutching his chest. Daniel went pale. Call the doctor. Now. The ambulance ride blurred into sirens and prayers. Amanda held Michael's hand as he struggled to breathe, tears streaking her face. I'm here, she whispered over and over. You're not alone. At the hospital, doctors swarmed, voices urgent. Daniel stood rigid, fists clenched, as a cardiologist pulled him aside. His condition has worsened, she said. We can stabilize him, but the transplant window is closing. Amanda felt the world tilt. In the waiting room, Daniel finally broke. Shoulders sagging, eyes wet. "I can't lose him," he said hoarsely. Amanda knelt in front of him, taking his hands. "You won't," she said, though fear clawed at her chest. "We'll fight." Hours later, Michael slept under sedation, color faintly improved. Daniel looked at Amanda like she was the only solid thing left. "I should have kept you away," he said. She shook her head. "He needs love more than distance." A nurse returned with paperwork, security reports, restraining orders, evidence against her family. Daniel signed without hesitation. "They're done," he said quietly. When Amanda finally stepped outside for air, her phone buzzed with headlines. Engagement under fire. CEO's son hospitalized after family scandal. She closed her eyes, steadying herself. This wasn't pretend anymore. This was war. And as she walked back into the hospital, she knew one thing with terrifying clarity. Running would only leave the people she loved unprotected. She was staying, and she was ready to fight. Morning came gray and heavy. Amanda hadn't slept. She sat alone in the hospital chapel, hands clasped so tight her fingers ached, replaying Michael's frightened face and Daniel's hollow stare. When Daniel finally found her, his suit wrinkled from the night, eyes rimmed red, he didn't speak right away. He sat beside her, shoulders nearly touching, both of them listening to the distant beeps and footsteps of a building that never rested. "My lawyers confirmed it," he said quietly. "Your brother sold photos, schedules, and lies to a rival. They wanted chaos. They wanted my stock to drop." Amanda's chest tightened with fury and shame. "He'll never stop," she said. "Not unless I stop him." Daniel turned to her sharply. "No, you don't go near them." She met his gaze, steady and resolved. "I have to. This ends today." He saw it then, the steel beneath her fear, the woman who had survived too much to keep running. "I'll go with you," he said. She shook her head. "This is my mess. Let me clean it." After a long beat, he nodded. "You'll have security, and one call away." She found her brother where he always hid: cheap bar, loud music, borrowed confidence. He smirked when he saw her. "Come to beg." She slid a folder across the table. Inside were bank records, messages, photos, and sworn statements. Proof of abuse, proof of extortion, proof of selling out a sick child. His smirk died. "You take one more step toward me or my family," Amanda said, voice low and clear. "And this goes public. Every outlet, every court." He laughed nervously. "You think your billionaire will save you?" She leaned in. "He doesn't need to. I will." She walked out without looking back, heart pounding but lighter than it had been in years. Her phone buzzed as she stepped into the sun. "Daniel." "A donor match just flagged," he said, breath unsteady. "International. We have hours." Amanda ran. The flight was rough. Michael lay between them, small and brave, clutching Amanda's hand. "I'm not scared," he whispered. "Knights don't run." She smiled through tears. "No, they don't." When they landed, doctors moved fast, words sharp and urgent. In the waiting room, Daniel paced while Amanda sat perfectly still, counting breaths. Then a lawyer arrived with a grim face. "There's a custody motion," he said. "Your ex-wife, backed by your mother." Daniel froze. Amanda stood. "Release everything," she said. "All of it." Daniel looked at her, surprised. "It'll be ugly." She nodded. "So is losing him." By midnight, the truth exploded across the news. Forged documents, betrayal, greed. The motion was withdrawn by dawn. When the surgeon finally came out, mask lowered, eyes tired but kind, the words landed like light. The transplant was successful. Daniel pulled Amanda into his arms, shaking. "We made it," she whispered, and for the first time she believed it. The first sound Amanda noticed was laughter. Soft, breathless, real. She stood in the hospital hallway as Michael took careful steps toward her. No wires, no alarms, just his small hand reaching for hers. "Look," he said proudly. My heart doesn't hurt anymore. She dropped to her knees and pulled him into a hug, pressing her face into his hair as tears spilled freely. Daniel watched from a few steps away, eyes shining with something that looked like peace. You did it, Amanda whispered to Michael. You were so brave. Michael grinned. We all were. Weeks passed, and the world quieted. The press moved on. Lawsuits dissolved. Her father and brother vanished from her life for good, their power finally stripped away. Amanda moved through the mansion differently now. Not like a guest, not like a hostage, but like someone who belonged. She cooked with Michael, laughed with staff, and slept without fear for the first time in years. One evening, under strings of warm lights in the garden, Daniel took her hands. No cameras, no lawyers, just truth. I built my life around control, he said, but you taught me how to choose. He dropped to one knee, a simple chain in his palm, 3 stones intertwined. Not for protection, not for headlines. Stay because you want this. Michael popped out from behind a tree, whispering loudly, Say yes. Amanda laughed through tears and nodded. Yes. The wedding was small, quiet, and real. No spectacle, only promises. Michael scattered petals with reckless joy, declaring himself the official knight of the family. When he tugged Amanda's dress and whispered, Can I call you Mom? Her heart answered before her voice could. Always, she said. Later that night, Amanda and Daniel stood on the balcony, the city glowing below. I used to run, she said softly. I thought leaving was the only way to survive. Daniel wrapped his arms around her. You stayed, he replied. That's how you won. Somewhere inside, Michael slept peacefully, a steady heartbeat marking a future that once felt impossible. Amanda leaned into Daniel, certain now. What started as a joke, for reckless words spoken behind a counter, had become a promise stronger than fear. A family built not by blood or money, but by choice. And this time, forever wasn't something to run from. It was something to step into, together. We've come to the end of the story. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more interesting stories.